was just at the public park and it looked pretty good. And then here I am at the airfield, or what passes for the airfield. Holy cow, somebody's paramotoring up there. We're right above the airfield here. Well, well. Wonder where they took off from. It's pretty muddy and looks pretty unused. I'm gonna walk it a little way here, but I'm not thinking that this is gonna be the spot. It quickly turns into mud and swamp over there, so even if I tried something sort of diagonal along this area, I'm not sure that would work. But let's not snap to judgment, shall we? Okay, the airfield was gnarly. I'm gonna go set up at the park on the north end of the island and see what that does for me. See you there. I think the park's where it's at. We're gonna set up a streamer and just watch it for a little bit. Looks like the flag is starting to wave a little bit more, which is probably a good thing for me. Well, I'm set up at the park and just waiting for the wind to be going my way. It's been shifting about 45 degrees, but it's the 4th of July and I am wearing my festive USA sweatbands. Run, run, run. Don't get in the seat too quick. All right, here we are. Gotta get all the nerve mucus out. Okay, so probably right when I started paramotoring, I know I said to my wife and probably anyone who would listen that a dream would be flying along somewhere in the Great Lakes system, flying over a freighter. And here's one coming up here. I believe this is the Whitefish Bay. And I see another one that's coming upbound way over there by Seaway Island, and that's the Bay Como. So the main novelty of this trip is that my brother-in-law Joe is in his boat and my son Simon's in there with him, and so I'm hoping to fly over them a little bit too. Keeping it safe, got my flotation. I actually always have my flotation attached to this thing because I'm a paranoid pilot. But let's go see if I can chase this guy down here. Oh, how cool is that? And just in time for my flight too. You can't take that for granted. Now that's Canada over there. So I'm staying over here on this side. There's two different things on Harsen's Island. There's fields and there's swamp. And the things that look kind of well manicured, those are fields. This thing right in front of me is a swamp. Lake St Clair is like an aneurysm in the river that divides the St. Clair River from the Detroit River. It's about 12 or 15 miles across, something like that, but most of it's like 15 feet deep. They have to keep a channel dredged for the freighters to go through, and that's like 28 feet deep. The water from Lake Huron flows into it, and it flows out into the Detroit River, which goes to Lake Erie.
Hey.
Hey. Do you see me?
We are to your 8 o'clock probably. Yeah, we see you. You are coming right over us right now. Did you see the Viking, the cruise ship? It's behind you.
Yeah, I saw the cruise ship, but I'm busy geeking out over the freighter here. All right, so Joe and Simon are right down there next to the front of the freighter. Yeah, so the Great Lakes has their own cruise lines, and this is one of them.
Hey, how is it?
Hey, it's good. I'm going towards the cruise ship.
The Bay Commode is coming up by Seaway Island. Do you see it from where you are?
Oh yeah, totally.
You can get some footage of the boat ships crossing each other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They should be crossing each other in not too long.
Yeah, that's right. But you're in back of me, aren't you?
Yeah, we're farther north than you.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we're gonna start coming back downstream.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll be around and I assume you can see me.
All right, perfect.
Right ahead of us, this is Seaway Island. My family had a boat, just a little cabin cruiser, 25-footer. And one thing we'd do is we would anchor at an inlet at Seaway Island and walk over to the beach. And it was a gnarly little Great Lakes beach. There'd be mayflies all over the place, but that's what we knew, and it was awesome. And right in the distance where you see an other freighter, that's like where that beach is. And so we'd watch the ships come by, and when the ships would come by, it would suck all the water off the beach for like 50 yards. And then as the boat would pass, then it would belch up all that water back up onto the beach. And you had to make sure that your cooler and your towels and all that were way up the beach, or else they'd get flooded. So that was a fun thing when we were growing up, to watch the freighters. Yes, you see ones that you recognize, and that's kind of cool. And kind of a main thing to remember is that Seaway Island is technically Canada, and I am not allowed to paramotor in Canada. So I'm not going to fly over Seaway Island. I'm going to stay on this side of the water. Nothing I have to worry about around the Mississippi River. I don't see any other aircraft, ultralight or otherwise. I don't know if you can tell, but it is hazy from the wildfires that are happening in Canada right now. It's not hazy up close, like I don't feel like I'm flying through anything, but off in the distance, it definitely has like kind of a smog look to it. There's the team. What's up, guys?
They're almost crossing.
Yeah, I see them. They're about a boat length or two away from each other.
Are you flying over that way?
I'm like right behind them, and I'm up high so I can watch them. Here they go.
I see the front of one and the back of the other.
Yeah. Oh, they're going right by each other.
Yep, awesome. All right.
All right, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going north a little bit.
Yep.
And then I think I'm gonna head down to the tip, down to Trash Island.
Trash Island, all right.
So that's my plan. Temperature is super comfortable. You know, it's cool after staring at this thing on the map for so long, being able to see it live time. Maybe I'll fly by that airfield that I deemed unsatisfactory. I know I'm not going to land at it because it's like a mile or so walk away from the park where all my stuff is parked at. So landing at the park it is, which I think should be just fine. I think it's not too tight. You know, sometimes you just want to marvel at a beautiful, mossy, algae-filled swamp. And that's what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. Teeming with life. See some ducks taking a swim. Oh, a whole bunch of them. An egret. There's some cyclists. There she blows. So a word on that freighter, the Bay Como. This will be the third close encounter I've had with it. One time we were on Joe's boat. Simon was there too. And we were out at Lake St Clair, and it was passing by, and we just kind of stopped and right next to the shipping channel and let it pass by. It was always very cool to see from the water. These things just are hulking and they look huge. And then the second time was a couple years ago. Simon was getting his driver's permit, and to kind of cap off the miles and the hours he needed, we drove up to Chicago and we did a Blues Brothers location tour from the movie The Blues Brothers. And across the drawbridge, what should be sitting there unloading what I think was salt, maybe it was limestone, I don't know, I'm not all that smart, was the Bay Como. And it had its boom out, and it was just self-unloading on there, and it was just doing that for a long, long time. So it's kind of cool to develop this relationship with a freighter. I feel like we're buddies. Go to Canada, don't go to Canada, don't go to Canada. Alright, one other spot that I want to go is over on the American side of Seaway Island, or this peninsula southern tip of Harsen's Island, and there's a private club there called the Old Club, and it's been there for, I don't know, like 150 years. And back in the day, they used to just dump all their junk, all their garbage at the southern tip of the island, and a friend told me that it's known as Trash Island. And so my friend Wendy boats over there with her dad and scavenges for like old porcelain and pottery and glass. So she has an Etsy store, Trash Island Treasures. I'll link it in the description, because she takes the pottery and repurposes it into some very cool stuff. Now I think Trash Island is more of a peninsula than an island, but that small island that's right past it is Gull Island. And while I'm boring you with Lake St Clair culture, every year, a couple times a year, there's a big party called Jobby Nooner, and you can look that up. But that tiny island just gets surrounded by a huge flotilla of pleasure craft, and there's just a big wild party there. I've never been to Jobby Nooner. That's not really my speed, but I think this year it was just a weekend or two ago. Too bad we missed it. So now if you're in the Detroit area and you hear somebody talking about Jobby Nooner, or maybe you get invited to Jobby Nooner, you'll know the deal. So for all legal intents and purposes, I am staying in U.S. airspace. However, in an emergency, my out is Seaway Island there, which is Canada. That's not the plan, it's not likely, but just wanted to be forthright. I've been kicked out of Canada before. Let them try to kick me out again. I really did get kicked out of Canada one time. Had a customs agent escort me onto the plane and everything, which is a lot more cloak and dagger than it sounds. And by the way, it has nothing to do with paramotoring or airspace or anything like that. It was when I was probably 19 years old. Oh yeah, the Old Club looks lovely. Look at that, nice lawn. There's a little pond with a fountain. Some tennis courts, beautiful hedges. Maybe I should join. There's Trash Island right there where those trees are. Once again, check out Trash Island Treasure. Wendy makes some great stuff and has some great lakes and local significance and connection to it. And there's a good shot of tiny Gull Island. Hello. Hey, I was just about to call you. Where are you guys?
We are a little bit north of Gull Island.
Gotcha. I just turned around from Gull Island, Trash Island. I'm heading back up the peninsula.
How high are you?
That's a good question. I'm going to guess I'm 1,000 feet. I think my hind end is rubbing up against Canadian water and airspace here, so I'm going to make sure I'm in compliance over here. Oh, well, here's something that you will likely not find that interesting, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you're in Michigan here, we are north of Canada, because Canada dips down around Algonac here and Detroit. And so if you walk straight south from here, you hit Canada. And that was always a little trivia question your geography teacher would ask you. It's been a wonderful flight. And I want to thank the good people at Cecil Brown Park on Harsen's Island, all the pickleballers there who were really nice. None of them had sunscreen because I had forgotten mine, but they were all very nice still. I'd like to thank our brothers and sisters in Canada, Joe and Simon, for taking the time to get up early in the morning and boat on over here so we could commune together from the air and the sea. And this one's dedicated to all those crew on the freighters, especially those in the Bay Como and the Whitefish Bay. All right, well, all that's left is to execute a good landing. Good look at my pasty white legs there. So this is cool, getting back to the homeland. Today's 4th of July. We're going to spend the afternoon and evening with some good friends of ours that we've known for a long time. It's just great to get the families together. We've been blessed with some great friendships. This road ends at the park, so let's follow it up there, and hopefully there's not a soccer game going on. I feel like the wind is picked up, and if it's picked up in the right direction, that could be good for me. I'd like to use as little of that park as possible. I'm gonna pull these guys down here. Full trims in here. Okay, here we go. Actually, this could work out really nice. Like butter. Packing up the wing is the last order of business, and little flight recap here. I was nervous coming up to this flight. I had a couple of not great flights. 2 of the last 4 of my launches have cost me money, let's just put it that way. And I'll throw a video together about that too. But the launch was not picture perfect, but up I went, seeing 2 freighters at the right time. That just couldn't have been better. And having Joe and Simon down there, that was really cool too. It's kind of groovy to do stuff with family. So I'm gonna get this thing packed up, head back across the ferry, and head back to pick Simon up from Joe's house. And then it's gonna be grilling, dessert, and fireworks with some of the homies. I'm looking forward to it.